kind of process the emotions of that?
We didn't do enough to win the game, so yeah, obviously pissed off.
Why did they have some success they had on the ground, do you think?
I think we got to go in there and look at ourselves going into this bye week and figure that out.
What was it feeling like when they were just chunking 6-7 yards pretty consistently?
Not a good feeling. I mean, most third downs we were in were third downs that an offense would like. So we got to do better on early downs. We got to figure out a way to stop the run. I mean, they had more rushing yards than we had total yards, so we got to figure that out on our end.
You know, that being said, you guys still kind of came up with big moments and it probably helped you out with some big field goals. And what was the mindset going into that fourth quarter still being in the one possession game?
Right. I think our team does a great job of approaching it as a four-quarter game. I don't think we get too caught up in the moment. So I think we in those moments we were able to execute, and it just unfortunately wasn't enough.
Did you get the sense that it was a healthy hurt in the locker room, like the kind of hurt that you guys want? It's raised the expectation that you guys are just mad about a top 10 loss?
I guess so, if you want to put it that way. But no loss feels good. But yeah, I guess we're going into the bye week with a whole new attitude.
What is that attitude?
Fix what we need to fix and get better.
What is that? I mean, do you guys take that players, or I mean, obviously coaches are going to have input, but do you guys add an extra emphasis on that over the course of the next 3 or 4 days with players?
Yeah, I think players-wise we can. I think it starts, in our position rooms, and then obviously permeates throughout the defense. But yeah, attack next week, get better.
Dylan, from a layman's perspective, were they doing anything in the run game that you hadn't seen or that you needed to adjust to, or is it just they just out physical?
I wouldn't say out physical. They were doing some schemes that caught us in some compromising positions, but we got our adjustments. We need to do better at implementing those adjustments as players, and just going into next week we need to tweak up what we need to tweak up.
What did Coach say in the locker room? What words were exchanged between players?
I guess the whole attitude behind just getting better next week. We got to take this one on the chin, and we can't just put our head in the sand and say, "Oh, well, season's over." Well, got 7 games, so tighten it up. Come back next week, get better at what we need to get better, and roll into next week.
You learned about yourselves through the first 5. What have you learned about yourselves as a team through the first 5 games?
I think we've come together as a team. I think we're able to play a 4-quarter game very effectively. I think that didn't transpire tonight, but I think we're a team that just keeps fighting. So really like that about our guys, but just got some things we need to clean up.
Does it at least instill some confidence? You staying tight when top 10 teams are really tough to battle with?
Came in here wanted to win, man.
Does it feel like you got away a little bit, maybe? Like an opportunity was there and you couldn't quite close?
Yeah, I think we had our opportunities to make plays, and they ended up making their more plays than we did. So I think at the end of the day, like I said, we got to go back in the film room, see what we need to fix, and then tag next week.
And obviously, Illinois being ranked 19 and where you guys were coming into this, is also people nationally by surprise. But I've gotten the sense from you over the last few weeks that this really wasn't a surprise for you guys. So why wasn't this start of a surprise for this team?
Like I said, I think we just attack every day. I think everybody has the same mindset as far as just they want to be better than they were yesterday. So I think in moments where we need to grow, guys are hard on themselves. It doesn't even start at the coaching. We start by ourselves being hard on ourselves. So I think we know what we have here. I think we just need to, like I said, shine and polish this week and roll into the week after.
What do you feel like? You said you know what you have. What do you feel like that is?
We got a dog. I mean, in my opinion, we got guys that want to fight. You know what I mean? We're not going to roll over. So if you got that, you can go pretty far in football.
Does the bye week come at a good time, you think? One end, you got to sit on a loss for a while, on the other end, you get to rest up and kind of hit reset?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like I said, a loss never feels good, but I mean, after 5 games, a bye week would be nice, but I think we'll be hungry to get out there next week.
Dylan,
You've
talked about the 24-hour rule after 4 wins. Does that still apply after tonight's loss, or do you guys need to look at this a little longer?
I think we'll look at the mistakes we made, look at what we need to change, look at where they attacked us schematically, and I think we'll be able to change off of that. I mean, it'll be a little bit longer as far as just because we don't have an opponent next week to prepare for.
Sure.
But yeah, I think win or lose, you got to take the lump, take the win, and just keep pushing.
But that comes with playing the Big Ten. So.
Do you think that experience is going to help when you guys go to Oregon later in the season?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially for the offense. Like I said, on defense, the crowd doesn't really get too loud unless they get a big play, but they don't want to be so loud for their offense so that they're not able to concentrate.
Miles, is it safe to say you guys, from a scheme perspective, saw some things tonight that you had to shift on the fly for, in a sense?
Yeah, we definitely did see some things that we hadn't seen before, but the best teams are able to adjust within the game, so we just got to do a better job of adjusting within the game.
Is there an idea that because of that, things are correctable? I mean, it's I talked to Dylan, he said he didn't feel like you guys just got out physical and blown off the ball, that kind of thing.
Definitely not, because we took some blows, but we were able to give some blows back on defense, so they were able to run the ball for a good amount of yardage, but they weren't scoring like every single time that they had the ball. Like, we were able to keep them out of the end zone, keep them from getting points, but it has to be better.
What was the most frustrating part about this loss to you?
Man, the rushing. Like, for them to run for 240-some yards is like pretty deflating. And our defense is like, one of our keys to victory was to stop the run, like to suffocate the run game. And it was just frustrating how they were able to come out and just establish dominance when it came to the run game. So that was the most frustrating part.
They also contribute. This is, I think, the first game you guys haven't forced a turnover. Was that part of it, that they maybe didn't have to throw as much, didn't have to take as many risks in the passing game because they were able to run?
Yeah, and then I don't know, they were up 7, but they weren't really trying to take any shots down the field. So I don't know, it was just frustrating. We couldn't get a takeaway for nothing. But that's what we live off of. We're trying to get takeaways and trying to stop the run, force teams to pass the ball, but we didn't really force them to pass because they had so much success with the run, so it's hard to get a takeaway that way.
I mean, how frustrating is that, Miles, when it just seems like, from a layman's perspective, you kind of knew by the fourth quarter what they were trying to do. You had an idea, and you couldn't get it fitted up right.
The best thing I could do is just do my job to the best of my
Sure.
ability. But yeah, that is frustrating. That defense as a whole. But that's why we got this week, to learn from that and make sure it doesn't happen again.
You've talked about the 24-hour rule after 4 wins. Does that still apply after tonight's loss, or do you feel like you need to look at this a little longer?
Definitely. I think what losses there is much more to learn, of course, because you don't want to lose at all. But still, at the end of the day, we got to have a next play mentality, regardless if it's a win or a lose. So we put this to bed tomorrow, and then we're on to Purdue.
Did you see